Tote kamboko yo, mutuna mtuazo aparnae. These are the words of a language called Lingala, a language that is spoken in the Democratic Republic of Congo and Congo-Brazzaville. And while the sound of these words, that sounds like music to some of you, is not as intriguing as what it actually means. Let's sell this country and give to each and every one his shares. Why would a young person living in a country that is made of 60% of its population comprised between the age of 15 to 35 mention such a thing when he hears that his country is worth, and it's as an estimated worth of $24 trillion? Well, leaders, these are not the kind of things that we inherited from our forefathers, but unfortunately, these are the kind of things that we bequeath to our children and leave as a legacy for future generations. Our forefathers believed completely in something different. When we hear names like Kwame Nkrumah, or again like Mwalimu Kambarage Nyerere, or we hear names like Tom Mboya, or our very own Patrice Emery Lumumba, we hear the names of the people who fought for the freedom of our country, and they fought for what they believed because they knew that we could achieve what we were called to without neo-colonial power. Unfortunately, they were surrounded by greedy walls that were ready to do anything, even at the expense of human lives, for them to gain what they wanted to gain. And these people brought us wars in which children were enrolled in militias, women have been raped, and we have been shattered because of the tragedy of death that has been introduced. But that introduced another kind of tragedy that is even worse than death, and that is life while dead on the inside. I was born and raised in the Democratic Republic of Congo. In 1994, though I was still very little, I remember seeing refugees flocking into my parents' house, some of them dying of cholera. And then in 1997, 1998, I remember the AFDL invading the city in which I was, laying bombs, and a bomb fell 100 meters from my home. And we grew up with that kind of trauma. And when it came time for me, I had the opportunity to study out of the country, but when I was leaving my country after high school, I didn't have the belief that I could achieve what I was called to achieve because of the things that I'd experienced. And another thing kept on ringing in my head, Zef, as my friends told me, you will never speak English. And guess what? I graduated at the top of my class with the first class honors, and I'm here talking to you in English, so I am a success. But when I go back to my country, I believe that success without a successor is failure. So when I go back to my country and I see that people are as well struggling in my country, I do not call myself a success. That's why we launched Hosanna, which means hope and sanctification for the nation. Hope, why? Because we are in need, of course, but we are not hopeless. Sanctification, because the experience that we've gone through have made us the kind of people who are prepared to write a different story for my country. I've redefined my success as seeing a woman who has been a victim of rape come back and change other people. That is my success, and I'm not alone. Ahmed Masire, coming all the way from Mauritania, a country in which only 55% of the girls have access to primary education, has redefined his success through his organization, Give Her a Chance, by sending other girls to school to write a different story. Today, Beyene, coming from Ethiopia, has changed completely the narrative in Ethiopia by being a fighter of gender balance and has made sure that it's not only a slogan, but it becomes a reality. And lastly, I want to talk about Dr. Sunday Agbonika, coming all the way from Nigeria, who has defied the status quo by making sure that responsible pet ownership is taught. Because the future where we are going, even animals have their rights. So I am leaving this place, telling you, fellows, like you and I, we can write a different story. Fellows from DRC and I have decided not only to tell a different story, but to be a different story. Because when the narrative changes, action is taken. And when action is taken, change is not only a slogan, but a reality. Thank you.